The setup for this relationship was a model of modern commitment. Two young adults, both pursuing demanding lives filled with college, careers, and personal growth. Their relationship thrived within this high-energy dynamic, demonstrating their ability to make it work despite the busy schedules. However, in recent months, the balance shifted dramatically. The boyfriend took on significantly more responsibilities, a demanding new project at work perhaps, or an intensive course load, and the exhaustion became overwhelming. Initially, the user understood the impact on their sexual life. She was willing to accept a slowdown, but the situation worsened from less frequent to almost absent. Worse than the lack of sex was the emotional distance. He became colder, less affectionate, and noticeably more reactive to small stressors. The physical chemistry was explosive at the start. She was openly passionate, and he reciprocated that desire. Over the course of their 3-year relationship, however, a critical reversal occurred. Her libido increased while his plummeted. The user now finds herself in a bizarre and painful situation where her boyfriend, who is supposed to be crazy about her, is actually choosing to retreat. The sexual frustration came to a head recently. She called him on video, gently asking for a nude, a simple gesture of intimacy, and he deflected, citing shyness and, once again, exhaustion. This is the man who supposedly finds her irresistible, yet he is now opting for private relief over connecting with her. This situation forces us to confront a vital question. To what extent is exhaustion a truly valid reason for a sexual indisposition? And here's the paradox she faces. Why does the temptation always land on a vegan's plate? She feels like the desirable meal he keeps turning down. She is desperately seeking perspective, wanting to understand what her otherwise healthy, loving boyfriend is going through. They are both young, they work out regularly together, and there are no known physical or mental health issues. He demonstrates his love profusely through other love languages, acts of service, gifts, quality time, making his emotional commitment undeniable. He still says he's crazy about her, confirming that the attraction is still there. The problem is the follow-through. When it's time for actual intimacy, he either resorts to excuses, or if it does happen, it's done quickly and without genuine engagement, the quick and sloppy job. This disconnect between his words and his actions creates immense doubt and rejection in his girlfriends. She is left wondering if his verbal affection is a form of guilt management rather than genuine physical desire. The critical insight here is that exhaustion is a genuine libido killer, but it is often the symptom of deeper psychological stress, not the root cause. When stress levels are chronically high, high-demand job, intense study, the body prioritizes survival, cortisol and adrenaline production, over procreation. For many men, the expectation to perform sexually requires a mental investment of energy that, when depleted, is simply easier to discharge privately and without pressure. His shyness, his coldness, and his excuses are all signs that the stress has pushed him into an emotional withdrawal that is starving their intimacy. The current dynamic, where the user is practically imploring for attention and he is retreating, has created a negative cycle. Her pursuit is increasing his performance anxiety, and his withdrawal is increasing her feeling of rejection. To fix this, they must shift the entire approach. They need to move the goalposts away from sex and back toward connection. The conversation should not be about fixing his libido, but about fixing his stress management. She needs to communicate that the problem isn't the lack of climax, but the lack of tenderness. He needs professional support to manage his stress and find healthy boundaries in his professional life, because his job is effectively stealing his emotional energy for his relationship. The girlfriend on her part must step back from the pursuit. Instead of asking for a nude, she needs to ask for a non-sexual, low-effort connection, a 15-minute cuddle session with no pressure, or a joint relaxation activity. By removing the performance pressure, she gives him back the safety he needs to reconnect, allowing his suppressed desire a chance to naturally return. The problem is not the passion, it's the debilitating stress that has completely shut down the pathways of physical expression. The searing pain you feel is the deep wound of being desired in word, but rejected in action. You must internalize this truth. Your worth and desirability are completely independent of his current state of exhaustion. The irony of being the mate on the vegan's plate is a signal that this struggle is not a rejection of you, but a casualty of his unsustainable life management. When stress becomes chronic, it doesn't just affect productivity, it poisons intimacy, turning the simple act of connection into another item on a depleted man's to-do list. The love is there. The energy is not. Your challenge now is to bravely shift the conversation from what he owes you physically to how you can support his emotional recovery, allowing him the safety to eventually desire you again without the crushing weight of expectation.